It's Balázs here from Alpha Forever Modular. I'm half of the team and this is AFNoding number 26. And today we are going to build the best utility ever. Actually, we do not even need to build it because it's Alpha Forever. And it's the best utility for this kind of Euro Rack systems like VCV Racks too. Because you can simply open it up and assign the CV velocity and gate to the required slots like that, and you can already start to check for the incoming signals, like this is the pitch, this is the velocity, oh no, this is the gate, this looks like gate to me, yeah, I connected them wrong, but no problem. That's the velocity and this is the gate. So yeah, this is the velocity and this is the gate, which is simple stuff. But from here on we can start to modulate things and to create stuff like we can invert the gate, so we output the gate only when it's not working, and that's simply by subtracting the gate from 1. And I can even prove that this works by creating an oscillator, so something that makes a sound. I'm not too good at these oscillators and these modulars here, but let's find something that we could use there. This looks like a VCO, it should be fine. And yeah, maybe we'll need not an alias or VCA, and let's use this VCA maybe. So if I connect the first output to the level input of the VCA and plug in this, let's say the sine wave into the input and plug the output into there. Yeah, it's loud. But when I hit a key, it gets silent. So we inverted the gate. We do not every day need to invert the gate, but yeah, we can do it. Do we have a scope here? Yeah, we have a scope here. And yeah, maybe this is better to examine stuff or to check if something works or not. This way we do not make that much noise. So that's so, here's the gate. Like this. So yeah, and to create an attenuator or a voltage controller is this much, like you create a knob on the output and there you go, it's audio rate and interpolated and everything, and you can even MIDI control it. And yeah, this is simple stuff, but you can also use it as a attenuverter, like you set it to centered, set one of them to -1, and there you go, it's doing its job like it should. That's more visible like that. So yeah, this is still pretty simple stuff. And many people like the slew following or the slew features of the make noise math modules. And yeah, an envelope follower is built in, which I know is not exactly what maths is good at, but it's a good envelope follower. But here we have an analogish envelope follower because this is 2 IIR filters. But yeah, we can also create our own linear envelope follower. first I can create a linear smoother, because that's the more simple one. And for this I'm creating an input. And if it changes, I want to remember I want to subtract this new value from the current, I want to subtract the current output from this value. So I create a con here so we can remember that we want to plug here something. And I want to remember this value. This is going to be the direction we want to go to. So if the signal is changing, we want to know which direction and with how much power we want to go to. And this is one thing we want to remember, and we want to remember this value, the output at the moment when we get this trigger. And we are only doing this way because of we want to be able to convert this linear smoother later on to something that's exponential or logarithmic, and it's not hard to do from there on. So the idea is that if the signal is changing, we will start a ramp from 0 to 1, and we are going to transform this ramp so that it will start from the value that we just remembered. So we will add this value to it, and we are going to multiply this ramp from 0 to 1 with the difference of this subtraction. So we are going to shrink it down like this and then move it to where it should be. And from here on, we only need to create an incrementer, the ramp part. And as I told, it's going to be an incrementer where we are going to have a trigger which will always reset when a change happens in the input signal, and then we need the increment speed. And what we want to have is that if this guy is higher than 1, then we want to output 1 from this statement, and if it's false, then we want to output 1. So if it's higher, then it's 0. So we can multiply this increment value with this. So if we are above 1, we do not increment further because that's the highest we want to reach. And we also want to clamp the output, so this way we can go higher than 1 a bit, even. But if we clamp it, it cannot be higher than 1. So we simply clamp the output. If it's bigger than 1, then the output should be 1. If it's not, then the output should be the increment value. And here we go. This is the output of this ramp. And we want to trigger it when a change in the input signal happens. And for the time being, we are going to go with the reciprocal of the sample rate. So the first version of this smoother is going to be a 1 second ramp up and a 1 second ramp down. And from here on, we only need to transform this ramp into something that we like. So yeah, we are going to multiply it with the difference of the input and the output, because that's the vector we want to go to. So to the highest value should be the difference, because this way we start by 0 on the ramp and we end up by 1. If we multiply this with this difference, then we start by 0 and end up by the difference, and that's where we want to get to. I hope this makes sense. And we only need to add some value to it, which value is going to be the start value when the change itself happened. And this is all nice. And we want to get back to, and this is going to be the output, by the way, so this is the way this thing works. And we want to get back this since this is our output, we wanna plug this back into this cone that we created earlier. And actually this is our linear thing. The only thing we wanna do is to slow down the sample rate here. So we are not going to use a lower sample rate, but we need to rectify the input signal a bit, because this way we can have too many changes and the ramp won't be able to start, especially later on when it's going to be non-linear and it's going to ramp up pretty slow, and then the feedback won't move away. So we need to slow this down. So I create a rectifier. I don't know, maybe this makes sense as a name. And I create an input here, use a variable. So this is something like a small sample and hold algorithm, because we can also create a sample and hold algorithm here in no time. This just needs an LFO square, and we want to check for the change. And since a square LFO changes twice in one revolution, we can take this as so it's now 1000 Hertz. So if we check for the change, we will have 2 triggers each time a revolution. So this is like a 2000 Hertz sample rate, and yeah, the amplitude should be 1. And we rectify this guy. There's our change signal, and yeah, actually this should do the job pretty well. I put this there, so yeah. So this should do it. Let's see if this works or not. I plug in the gate. I plug it into the output, and what we will see is that the signal should rise in 1 second to 1 and get back. And 1 second, and if I let it go, it goes back. And we can also do like that. How cool is this? Yeah, but mostly we do not need this to be 1 second long. So we can multiply this guy here by the time, which is going to be in milliseconds, but yeah, let's call this smooth, like smoothing. And I can create an op here, and if it's on 1, then the length is 1 second. If it's on 0.5, then it's 2 seconds, and if it's on 2, then it's half a second. And this is not so intuitive, so we can change it in no time by taking the reciprocal of the smooth value and plug it into the multiplier like this. And yeah, I want to clean up this feedback because it drives me crazy. And like this, it's already looking a lot nicer, right? So yeah, this taking the reciprocal of this smooth value will give us the thing we want. So now 2 is 2 seconds long, 1 is 1 second long, and 0.5, somewhere around 0.5 is as long as it should be. But yeah, as we know it's in audio, it's not seconds that we measure stuff in, it's more like milliseconds. So I multiply this by 1000, so I take 1000, and this way we have milliseconds here. So this is 200 milliseconds, this is 100 milliseconds, and so on. So yeah, this is a linear smoother, and this is something we can use later on. But we can also create something more complex. So we turn this to be an envelope follower. And this is going to go into O2. And I'm going to connect it to the Y input, because we can do so. And this linear follower is going to be based on this. we will just use different smooth values for different stages, and those smooth values are going to be dependent on these subtraction, so on the difference of this subtraction. So if this variable is positive, so if this is, I don't remember which one I used, so if it's bigger, yeah, I want to use this. So if this is bigger than 0, then we want to output 1, as we will output 0. And we will use a crossfader here and plug this guy here and use this as the smooth value. And the B input is going to be the attack, and the A input is going to be the release time. And where do I have something that's called A? I should have a note here with the name A. Yeah, I remember this to 1000 and this one to A. So this way we should have a linear envelope follower. And let's see if it works. If we plug in the same value to both, then it's the same behavior as it was before. Yeah, if with the same values, you see they move together. This way it's a bit different. And we can create another knob, copy paste it, align it. So this is attack, and this is the release. And woo, we have different attack and release times, which should be pretty cool. But we can still go further. The channels 1 and 4 of make noise also have this feature. They can be turned into logarithmic and exponential curves. And just look at this function. If we multiply the ramp with itself, this is pretty exponential. And with some simple mathematics, we can turn this into logarithmic. And it's pretty easy. We just subtract this ramp from 1. So we invert the ramp, it goes from 1 to 0. And we multiply it with itself this way. So it's making the inverse direction exponential now. And we subtract this from 1 again. And this way, take a look at it. Now the attack is curved like this and the release like that. So this is pretty simple from here on. We just need to plug in this here and create a crossfade 8, maybe plug this into the first slot, this into the third slot, and this guy goes there. And you can connect this input to the second one. And yeah, basically this is it. We can create a knob here and oh no, not a knob, an input. And call this, let's say, curve. And this will go between 0 and 2, and this is one curve, this is the other curve, and this is linear. And as you can see, if we are releasing, then the release looks exponential in this curve and the attack in the other. So we want to have the opposite. So if for the release stage, we want to subtract these from 2, and it's not hard to do. We just need to crossfade based on these if. So if we know that if this is 1 1, then we are in the attack stage. So this crossfader will know it. So if this is 1, then we are in attack stage, and the attack should be the X input, while the release should be the X subtracted from 2. So we basically invert stuff, and that goes there. And actually this should do it. Yeah, now both the attack and release have the same curve. And it wasn't that hard to do, and from here on you can use this. So this is going to be the curve follower. And it's a pretty simple stuff, but it works fine. And you can also use this for things like pitch. Actually, to follow pitch is a bit tricky. If you connect the volt per octave input to an audio input, like I1, then it's going to be working nice. So this is the expected way it should work. And my control key stack. So this is nice, but actually using the pitch is not this simple. And for this we are going to do a measurement so we can convert the MIDI pitch to this fake voltage stuff again. So yeah, let's take the signal value node and let's check if I hit and also here the signal value node. And let's check if I hit this key, it's 36 and it's 0.2. So let's create a rescaler GUI which converts from 36 to the low of 0.2. And let's take another key, 48 goes to 0. And actually if from now on you can use the pitch, like it can come here, and using these rescaler, things should get back to the same values where they were before. Or maybe inverted, I don't know. Let's see with this. Let's set these levels to something pretty low. Oh yeah, these are pretty sensitive now, so zero values do not work so nice. So leave it on 0.1, that should do the job. Yeah, as far as I see, I've inverted the pitch here, so this should be 0 and this should be 0.2 maybe. No. Okay, let's see again what did I do wrong. So here we have the signal value. And here I have the signal value. On the pitch, so it's minus 0.2. I was just blind. And yeah, what happened at pitch 48? It was minus 0.1. So yeah, my memory failed me, and yeah, this is it. Okay, solved. So this way you can convert the pitch to voltage, and I create a node for it. because this is pretty linear, and the rescaler extends also above these ranges. If you hit clamp, then it doesn't, but if you just use the scale, it does. So this is another cool little trick you can use. And so we can use this for pitch generation and creating like legato stuff. And we still can do a bit more. Like, we can give this follower an LFO feature, which is not too hard. Actually, I will do it in this guy. So we have the curve type, we have attack and release. We are going to create another input, which is going to be called like cycle. And it's going to be a Boolean kind of input, so it's either on or off. So I use this step input and it will make it cycle. And to do it won't be that heavy, because we have these the values for the attack and release time. So I'm going to move these guys up, sorry, clicked wrong, and move them to the side and create a cone, so we still have the patch clearance, so these guys go wherever they should. And I can move the attack a bit lower, and like this it. So we didn't change anything yet, we just, sorry, I'm always clicking wrong. So we just changed the order, and we want to add these guys together. And the product of this add, I don't know if it's called, or the sum of this addition, yeah, that's the right word, is going to tell us the frequency of a square LFO. And to convert this to frequency, we simply need to divide 1000 by this value, because yeah, why not? And this is going to be the frequency, because this is in milliseconds. 1000 divided by milliseconds by the millisecond periodic time will give us the frequency. And this way we have a square LFO here, which we can multiply and track for its change. And this is already a trigger, and we can use a trigger to gate node here, and it will require the length of the attack. So we know how fast we want to rise, and yeah, and if this cycle thing is on, then we won't use we will use this as the input, so this is only requiring crossfader, like this, and this goes into the B input. Actually, I can plug this like this, yeah, and the rectify goes there, like this, nice. And the cycle input can do whatever it wants to, like this. And let's see if it works. If I turn the cycle on, we should get something like an LFO. Oh, but we are in pitch, so I'm using the audio output. And yeah, there it is. I can change the attack and release times, and then the frequency changes with it. And I can change the curve. It's pretty straightforward, but works perfectly. And we can also do something like to change the frequency together. So we can put a multiplier here and Then we also are going to need to multiply the attack time by the same amount. But not here actually. This should go like that. Actually, if we need two multiplications, then it's easier to keep this as it is. And then we can put a multiplier here, a multiplier there. And we create an input which is going to scale the whole function and create a knob for that, which should go from 0.1 to, let's say, 2. Or 0 to 2, and if we center it, that's 1. And this way, both the attack and the release are slower, twice as slow, and this way it's on 1, so it's the same. It's the original speed. On around 0.5 it should be half the speed, and a lot faster here and a lot faster there, so we can change the speed of the LFO using this knob. But I only want these to be active if the whole thing is in cycle mode, so I create a crossfader, and this scale value is going to be only active if the cycle is 1. So I connect these guys there. And where do we have the cycle input? Here I connect it to the X. And this way, if I turn this off, then things will look nice. Like I create a knob here. Yeah. Why? Oh, if it's off, then we should multiply by 1. Okay. My bad. Now we should, yeah, it follows the input nicely. Amazing. And if you turn the cycle on, we just cycle. And we can change the speed. And for safety reasons, we can do stuff like clamp if something is bigger than, smaller than, let's say, 0.01, then we output 0. So if the input is smaller than 0.01, then we output 0.01 as we output the input. And we can put this to the scale input. And we can also put this on the attack, which goes there. And also on the release inputs. This is just for safety, so we do not get the 0 division things, which is annoying. And this way, yeah, we can create crazy LFOs and crazy envelopes, and this works like an attack hold release envelope, like a legato, like a LFO, and you can change the shape. You can turn the LFO off and on. So yeah, it's even pretty complex, and you can still create attenuators and mixers by simply multiplying and adding things together. And you also have a mixer here, which is just for simply mixing, but you can use this as a signal generator simply by creating a knob here. And if you put it between -1 and 1, then you are using the full range of 10 and -10 volts. And with the right mouse button you can fine tune it. So yeah, this is all for today. I hope you had fun. We didn't make any noise now, but I think this utility shows that Alpha Forever is capable of a lot of things, and actually I'm going to create a demo track, and you will hear that the LFO can jump and then act pretty bouncy and quick, and I think it's fun to use. And probably we will create this linear smoother and the curve follower as a preset in Alpha Forever, but until then you can use it. But I also have an idea that you can also create simple stuff like you can output the output of these if. So it will be a gate if you are in attack, and the 1 - x part is going to be the gate on release, like that. And if you multiply it by, I don't know, there's no need to multiply this, but yeah, this is just simply, you can use gate outputs for the attack and the release time. So if you are attacking, then you get a gate, and I don't know if it works on hold as well now, so we are checking for that now. So this is going to be O2, and let's see what we get. I don't want to have it cyclic, I just want to have a attacking thing. If we stay on the same thing, then it's high. If we release, then it gets low. Yeah. So this is the attack and hold. And on release it gets 0. And if the difference is 0, then it outputs 0 again, but I think this can be used anyways. So yeah, I hope you have fun, and I hope you will have fun using these small notes. They not only make good use in VCV Rack, they also make good use in our good old Alpha Forever environment, but you can take it outside and you can have fun with it also in other modular environment which supports it. And yeah, this is it for today. If you enjoy watching these videos and if you enjoy watching our channel, then please subscribe and share and spread, and give a try for Alpha Forever. We think it's worth it because you can create pretty crazy stuff with it. And yeah, thanks for watching guys, happy noding and bye bye.